right, g'day everybody. Back for another Feasibility Friday. Today we're going to be looking at a logistics use case. So looking for land that matches a certain criteria. We're going to play the scenario of working across a team. Maybe I've been shared an area that I want to look in and find a site. And we're looking for area within a transit network that can help us build out a better transit system, whether that's a logistics factory or a storage facility. Doesn't really matter, but the concept here is we're going to start with a spatial exercise and then narrow down in on a feasibility exercise. And often those two things are connected. You can't necessarily do one without the other. So let's have a look here. I want to play a bit of a role here that I've been shared a file from someone in my team. Maybe they're in the logistics team and they have an area that they want to service or use as a node in a network via a KMZ or a KML. And KMZ, KML, think Google Earth. So I'm just going to add one in. I've been shared one earlier today. This is a KML. And when I pop the KML in, it beautifully maps it in my area. I want to make it red just to make it a little easier to see it. Make it a nice little red. And then let's do it in like, semi-transparent so that we can see the parcels underneath. And that's good. So my team's told me, hey, can you just look in this area, please? And I'm going to add it to my space here as just a layer to have that we know this is a hotspot that's come from our logistics team. And clearly, we've got a lot more sort of territory up here in north of Denton that's going to be interesting for us to look at. So we'll hit Save Layer. That'll save that to our space and save it in our library. And then I'm going to use the Regrid app. And the Regrid app actually lets us perform a search at this high level, at the county level. So we know this is Denton County here. So I'm going to say, okay, inside of Texas, in Denton County, let's look for parcels that are industrially zoned and greater than 2 acres. Okay, that's going to give me enough room to play with, and we may as well get the maximum number of results. Let's look for 1,000 results. So we'll let that run, and what that's going to do is, in our service area, it's going to start giving us sites that might be interesting to us. So you can see I've now got this layer called search results. I'm going to open up those search results. There's 400 parcels greater than 2 acres that have an industrial type zoning. So that's great. Some of it's out of our service area, so we're just going to ignore that. And up here in Sangler, that could be quite interesting. So let's just have a mosey around. The first thing I might do is color those parcels by their actual zoning. And that way I can see, instead of it being an aggregated subtype, let's color it by its actual code. Okay, that's cool. Heavy industrial is probably what we're looking for. These guys down here, you can see when I click on one of these, I can understand what that is. I think that's not perfect use for us. And then the red, what's red? Red is I2, heavy industrial. Okay, so there's actually quite a lot of options here. So maybe we'll whittle this down a bit further. Let's go to our zoning code, and let's get just the HIs and just the I2s. Okay, that's only those sites. Now my preference would be to be closer to Denton, probably, with an airport here, major interstate, though the land might be significantly cheaper up here, and these are good sized parcels. So I'm going to start down here, and let's turn the satellite on, just get a little sense of what's going on here. Turn our search results down. Okay, so that's definitely a consumed piece of land. Interesting. I like this up by this airport here. So maybe there's an assemblage here that would make sense. And I'm just going to keep my eye on who the owners are here. And what have we got? Owner, HL Fund. Looks like somebody holding, doesn't it? Okay, so let's come back here. not bad. One other layer I may turn on here is the power line infrastructure. Let's turn that on and just see if there are any major power lines running through here. No, but that is definitely the closest, interestingly enough. Okay, so look, I like this. Let's zoom down here. Let's have a look at this last parcel here. All right, so zoning, heavy industrial, good. Negative population growth, interesting. Owner is Aldi, fascinating. So somebody is thinking the way I'm thinking and probably going to develop that parcel. That's nice and close to power lines. I mean, that's a great site right there. Okay, that's good. That's why we do this exercise. Maybe this guy here, good proximity. Who owns this one? Interestingly, there's quite a bit of industrial land here. Okay, look, I think we might just pick one of these guys for the hell of it. This one's probably the way to go. And then we obviously want to get this little assemblage there too. Okay, so I'm going to take both of those guys. Now, I should mention that if you want to save this search that we've done, we could do that to go through each of them one by one. I'm going to move on. I'm going to go straight into solving for the logistics of this site. But if we wanted to create a list that we could work through, then that would be quite easy too. You just go down here and say save results as a permanent layer. Okay, so let's go to Acapulco. Let's say create project from those two parcels. Yes, what do we want to call it? We'll call it logistics facility, and we'll hit save. So that's now going to bake into our profile as a project that we're working on. And if I'm working across a team, I might want to then share that out with team members, whether they're designers, engineers, or maybe it's the logistics team who want to consider what we've done. Okay, so now I'm going to start, I guess, solving for how we may use this site. And there might be a couple of different methods here to our madness. So I might just kind of bring down the transparency of some of these things. Let's get rid of the parcels. Let's get rid of the interesting area KML because we're using that now. Power, we're not going to bother with. And that'll do us. Okay. And the first thing I'm probably going to have to think about here, actually, let's bring the satellite up a little bit. Someone's already graded this site, so it looks like probably a development is on its way, but we're going to take advantage of this site. Let's bring in a couple of environmental layers first. I'll go get the contours. We'll go get the wetlands and the flood layers. It's always good to have these layers. You're never going to be quite sure whether you're going to need them or not. So it's always good to have it just to turn it on. 2024 flood. All right, so what have we got? We've got a gentle gradient, but it looks like something's already been graded on it. There is flood going through the site, but hardly. And then what about wetlands? Are we getting performance out of wetlands? Wetlands is a real Florida problem. Maybe not so in Denton. Okay, that's good. I think we're okay there. So let's come back to our site. Where is our site? Gotten too excited and I'm lost. I guess we'll just zoom to our boundary. Here we are, way off. Okay, perfect. All right, so what I want to do here now is just start thinking about this from a couple of different purposes and see what the best use might be. Obviously, if I'm building industrial, I can just go up to the lightning bolt, click on the different uses that we may have, and start drawing those. And it's quite a big piece of land. So that's annoying. It's gone the wrong way. Let's turn that around. So we could do quite a lot here. Looks like a cross dock, or even like a back-to-back type situation like this may be best use. And let's get them on top of each other. I'll get rid of the doubling trailer parking because we probably only need one of those. Come over here, truck parking, turn that into truck bay depth is what we want. Let's put that at 0 feet. One of them, so it's just a single. Okie doke. And then let's start drawing our trailer system. So if we think about this as a logistics facility, it's going to have two primary uses. One is obviously the area in which we will be performing our sorting or unpacking or warehousing, whatever it might be. But then also we're going to have an area for temporary storage of containers. And we may want to try and understand what our capacity for containers is. So I'm going to do that by adding a parking lot, and we use the truck rules as a way to lay this out. Now, what I've done here is I've got a 55-foot bay as the default, and yet it's solving really quite nicely. And if I were to move this polygon around somehow, if I was to say turn it into a weird shaped rectangle, and we're just trying to understand capacity, then we're pretty much sorted. The polygon continues to solve as I move this shape around. So maybe we want to take some clearance off the flood here and then do another facility down here. Let's go get another facility. This time we might do a cross dock just to see it. There it is, very nice. And we may even, let's keep it off the boundary. We may even do a staff parking lot here. I'm going to split this in two. And we'll say on the right-hand side of it, we actually want to be a staff parking lot, which means smaller lots. Okay, so I'm going to change this from 55 feet to 18 feet with a 9-foot width, 9.5-foot width. Okay. And we don't want it to lay out like that. Let's have what layout north-south. So I just change the reference edge to the top, and there we go. Okay, very nice, very nice. So now we've got multiple buildings. We can see the areas on the right-hand side. We've got multiple parking lots that match different kind of dimensions, and we have this different facility down here. We may want to start throwing in roads and thinking about circulation. And we often get asked about how we can do different types of roads with different types of parking. So if you click up here into the car, you're welcome to experiment here, but the road system is great, and you can add truck curvatures to it and all sorts of things as you're working in the different parts of your project. Different exits, different entry points, definitely worth having a look at. So now let's zoom out and think about this problem set again from the top, which is how do I keep going here? Because obviously it's not a one-stop shop. Once we have a site plan, we're going to want to keep going. We're going to want to keep searching those different options, because we may not be at the best option, or we may find quite quickly that that option wasn't even that good. It may be too big, too much land, too small, poorly priced, whatever it might be. So I'm back here at the global view, and you can see that project that we made is now down here next to the airport, and we may want to go do the same thing up here in Salem. So let's go back to our search. I'm going to put that same search in because we didn't save it, remember, so we need to do it again. And we'll say minimum 2 acres. Let's give us all the results. And this will go find us the right sites. And these ones are zoned heavy industrial. Looks like there's a train line running through here, which is awesome. This may actually be the preferred option in the end. And if we look at this as an assemblage, those three there might be very interesting to us. So let's turn regrid back on. And we'll turn the satellite off. Yes, I like it a lot. I2. Cool. All right, let's turn all of those into a project. Say project take 2. And where one of the huge efficiencies is with Giraffe is now when we go and do our site plan, we can steal all the content we made in that prior project to be, as quick as possible. So in this one, I'm thinking about it more like a depot or a holding station for parking lots or for bays. And so I'm going to say design library, go to that logistics facility, and let's pick up just the truck parking zone and plop that in here. There it is. We'll fix it to the site. Actually, we'll even go one step quicker. Let's go to the project boundary, create, and we'll say inherit the properties from that. And then let's